Welcome to Real Estate of Mind, a Farbman Group podcast. Welcome to Real Estate of Mind. It's Andy Gutman, and I'm here today with our Vice President, Betty Drapinski, who this past year celebrated 30 years with the Farbman Group. She started when she was about 12. So welcome, Betty.
Thank you.
Betty, welcome to the show. So one of the things I want to start off by talking about, at Farbman Group, we do things a little bit differently in terms of due diligence. And you are the head of due diligence for us. You are a relentless and tireless advocate for our clients when it comes to that. And it's very different than a lot of companies who don't necessarily designate one individual to oversee that area and make sure things go smoothly. So from surveys, title, environmental, all those things that may get delegated out to individuals, in our company they all come wrapped up in a never in a bow, but they come over to you to make sure they're done right. Talk to us a little bit about your due diligence experience, why you think it's important that we've had that role here and how it's benefited our clients.
Great. It is very important. Title work specifically. You want to review your title, you order title, and you want to review the title to see what has been filed against the property. There's a mortgage and various other things that would be filed against the property. You want to make sure that all of those items are okay to leave on the title. If you have a current mortgage and you're going to be paying that off with this new financing that you need this due diligence for, it's okay that that mortgage and assignment of leases shows on the title, but you want to make sure that you have all the necessary paperwork in place to discharge the mortgage. And the title company will handle all of that. Tying into that is the survey. Title commitments come with standard exceptions, but in our case we always get a survey and we provide the title company with that survey, and in doing that they will delete all standard exceptions from the title work.
Now that's an interesting point you bring up, because I remember, and I want to just be open and direct about this, when I first started at Farbman, and I was here for about a year, and then you were going to some huge assignment for a client. Our client said, I need to steal Betty Drapinski for a year or two, or whatever the term was. And someone said, hey, you know who can do the work in that due diligence area? Is that joker Andy Gutman. He can figure that out. And I remember with surveys, you could read them better than most surveyors can, and you would tie them out, like tirelessly tie them out to the title work yourself.
Exactly.
Where most people in the industry, they'll go to the surveyor and go, is it right? And then they'll go to the title company and go, is it right? But you had that ability that I don't find anywhere anymore to actually by hand walk through those and tie them out. Where were you taught that? Where did you learn that skill?
Actually, maybe 5 or 6 years after I started here, First American Title had a class, and it was how surveys are started, going from the northwest point, and following the survey, the actual legal description words against the actual drawing. So from there, some of it was self-taught, but you just get used to reading that description, knowing where to start, and then following that legal description on the survey, and knowing that it's crossing an easement or it's crossing a road. So the two documents, the title commitment and the survey, are so hand in hand. The way we do it is we tie that in, just like you said, we tie both of those together. If there are easements showing on the title work, I'll show it on the survey. If the surveyor missed it, you go back and give him the title work. Maybe he was using old title work or something, and it didn't get put on there. So it's just tying the two together, making sure that anything that's showing on there that might be out of the property line, there's a reasonable explanation for it. It's an awning, or it's a fence that doesn't belong to you. It's the neighbor's fence and it just happens to be on your property. Ownership would decide what to do about it, but the most important thing is just knowing that it's there, knowing what easements you have, knowing where they're located. If you have a guy wire that was installed at the time of construction but was never taken down, that's going to show, and your lender's not going to want that on there. So some things you have to go back and determine how to remove it from title.
And that's a great thing you point out. You mentioned the fencing, that more often than not, it's something like that ends up, you're purchasing a property and your neighbor has gone over their lot line with their fence, which after a certain period of time can become theirs through adverse possession. So having someone who really gets that on our team has proven invaluable. I will tell you, the one thing that was so important to me when you came back from that long-term assignment, I couldn't have been happier to have someone take that back, because it takes such a detail-oriented expert on that. And I don't think our company could have been any happier either. They were so glad to get you back and me out of that position. But
I do enjoy it. I like tying the two together. It's a search, tying the easements or the fence. Why is that fence there? Who owns the fence? It could have been ours, the property owners from 2 buyers ago or 2 owners ago. So I enjoy it. I think it's fun to kind of search it all out, tie it all together.
That's fantastic. Betty, another area that you oversee for us is the tax appeal area. And I know that that's not necessarily something that all property management companies do. A lot of times they leave it to counsel, or they hire counsel themselves from the get-go. But you do that for us. You oversee it, get it out to all of our clients. And why don't you tell me a little bit about your involvement in the tax appeal process, and maybe what you do a little differently. I think it's different and a nice touch for clients, different than what others do in the industry.
And some companies, real estate companies, don't do anything. They don't even let their clients know that it's an option. And then when their taxes are high, then they come back and they say, oh, what can we do? But in our case, we're very proactive. In February, we send all of our owners, it's time for the upcoming tax appeals on your property, and we let them know the process. I will file the petition at the local level. Sometimes we can get relief at the local level. Your municipality where your property is located knows their city or their township, and they understand the market in that area, and oftentimes they will look at the petition and understand the information that we're providing to them, and they will give us relief because they know it is a fair evaluation of the property.
That's an interesting point that you bring up, though, because I know a lot of attorneys will say don't bother to file at that level, and sometimes that's legitimate. Some municipalities is a rubber stamp, sometimes to say no as a first step. I don't think that's true of all of them. I do think every governmental agent really is trying to do what's best for the municipality and their clients. But just the fact that you yourself write up those petitions, do that at the local level where many people would bypass that, you do get relief for some of our clients just based on trying.
We do.
And that relief is not split with attorneys.
It's true.
In most cases, it goes straight to the bottom line of the client.
Yes,
not saying that there's times you need that expertise at the attorney level, but you go about it and try to make sure that you make your argument first, see if the municipality will listen to that argument before asking our clients to engage counsel to take it to the next level. Maybe they can get more out of it than we do, but I just say kudos for getting that at the municipal level. It's a rare and unique thing, and I love the fact that you fight so hard as if every penny is yours.
I do.
and try to make sure that those pennies go right to the client's, bank account. And it's one of the things that makes you great. It's one of the things that makes 30 years here so valuable to us. I keep telling you, you got 30 more to go, at least. But so then if you don't get that relief, or maybe you get some, but you feel like there's more to be had at the next level, tell me about how the process goes from there.
Okay. At that point, if we don't get relief, or if we think that there's more out there that we could achieve, we contract with an attorney to file the petition in Lansing at the Michigan Tax Tribunal. We try to give all of the information at that point. Those petitions are, the deadline for Michigan Tax Tribunal petitions is May 31st. So we want to make sure that all of the information regarding that property is in the attorney's hands, so that they know what they're dealing with. They've already analyzed the numbers, and they know what they can go in and ask for. We want to make sure that we have all that information up front, because if with the first petition and you have a conference with the with the tribunal, you may get relief at that point. Sometimes they don't, and another counsel summary will be scheduled for a couple months later, and a few months after that will be your deadline to have an appraisal done on the property. Now, as we all know, appraisals can be costly, so we want to do everything proactively to make sure that the attorney has all the information that they can use to obtain relief in the first few months of the tribunal for the appeal, so that we can save the client the cost of an appraisal. Some municipalities tell me that, a lot of companies just automatically send it to us. And that's great, but if I can save a client $5,000 by not doing it and having other information available that supports our contention of value, all the better, because they will be getting tax relief and they won't be spending the additional funds for an appraisal.
It's a very good point. And with appraisals, not only are you saving the client money, but the municipality can save money by not having to do that as well, if you can find an amicable solution. So it saves the government, it saves the client, if you can get there. Now, you and I have both spent time at tribunal, at a trial. Was that an enjoyable experience for you?
No, not really.
No one likes that.
Didn't care for that.
It is not a fun time for anyone involved with that. And, I think if you've gotten that far into the appeal, sometimes clear minds have not prevailed in the process. But during the downturn, it was probably some of the toughest times to find middle ground. And that's unfortunately what you're really trying to do is, governments have to operate. We know that, they depend on tax dollars to do that. So, it's not incumbent, it's not in the best interest of our clients to deplete the resources of the municipality by not paying their fair share of taxes. And most clients get that.
They do.
So, we know it's like any other negotiation. To some extent, you're trying to find what's fair to all parties to the greatest extent possible. That's a great outcome. I always say, if both parties walk away equally unhappy, then it's been a victory for everybody.
Exactly.
All right. Betty, I really appreciate you being on the show today. Of course, like I said, we appreciate everything you do for the Farbman Group. It's great. We have so many great long-term employees like you. No one, I think, who's surpassed you. Maybe one or two that have more years than 30, but that's tough. That's a lot of years. And we're grateful for every one of them, and we're looking forward to the next 30.
Okay.
For our clients or prospects who are looking for, to have questions answered on due diligence, on, all the little aspects of that title, survey, environmental. We didn't touch on that, but that's for another segment. I think we're going to have some fun with that. If they want to get a hold of you, the best way to do that, Drapinski at Farbman.com, Drapinski at Farbman.com, or 248-351-6329. And again, thank you for being part of the show. From Andy Gutman and Betty Drapinski, this has been Real Estate of Mind. Join us next time for another wonderful edition of Real Estate of Mind, a Farbman Group podcast.